Welcome back to Sports Today. We bring you this video every single morning to help you catch up with things that you might have missed out on whilst you were catching up on some all-important rest. So without further ado, let's get straight to it and let's start off with a couple of very big updates on domestic cricket, which normally wouldn't be getting that much attention, but they are because of the two names involved, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. Rohit Sharma has now confirmed that he will be playing the Vijay Hazare Trophy games. In fact, sources have informed us that he has notified the MCA, the Mumbai Cricket Association, for his availability in the Vijay Hazare Trophy games, which he was mandated to be playing in the month of December. You'd remember that with Rohit and Virat both being one format players, there's of course an expectation that they'd play more domestic cricket, particularly in the 50-over format, to keep themselves match fit. However, whilst Rohit has confirmed that he will be playing, there is no word yet on whether or not Virat Kohli will be doing the same thing. Now, it is worth noting that this only comes about from the fact that he is yet to inform the DDCA, or the Delhi and District Cricket Association, of his availability for the games. That is something that, of course, could very well likely come in due time, making this and rendering this a non-story. But as of now, it's interesting that Kohli hasn't yet notified the DDCA that he'll be available. Should he do so later, as I said, moot point, no big deal. But if he doesn't, I don't know what exactly will happen at that point in time, but it'll be worth watching regardless. Now, another thing that has been capturing the attention of a lot of people, a lot of cricket fans in India, has been the potential trade between CSK and RR for Sanju Samson and Ravindra Jadeja. Now, you'd remember that whilst news of that had been doing the rounds as early as Sunday, it's pretty much Wednesday morning now, and you don't really have any clarity yet on when it is that the deal will go through. An expression of interest has been sent, but the deal is still not ratified. And there is a reason for that really happening. You have to remember that obviously the swapping of just Sanju and Jadeja would be no problem whatsoever. Both are valued at 18 crores. Both are Indian players. But you have to remember as well that RR asked for another player in Sam Curran. There's just one small problem there. They have neither the funds nor the roster space to accommodate Curran. So what that means is that they'll have to potentially release a player to ensure that they have enough money to keep Curran. So, and the player that they release, by the way, will have to be a foreign player, because as of now, all their 8 foreign player slots are taken up. Now, you have to remember that the retention deadline for IPL teams is November 15, which is of course this Saturday. So it could very well just be a case of waiting till then to formalize the releasing of players and then stamping off the trade deal. But as of now, that is the main reason why the trade hasn't been confirmed. But should it get confirmed, R. Ashwin, the former CSK player, had some interesting advice for CSK as to who it is that they should pursue next in the auction. And he believes there's 2 players they should be looking to target. One of them being current KKR player Venkatesh Iyer, the other being current Rajasthan Royals player Nitish Rana. Why is it that he's named both these players? Because he expects that both of them will be released into the auction pool to make space for more squad building. And he believes that both of them could add some much needed depth and power in the middle order. Both are also, you have to remember, very good players of spin, and the CSK pitches do tend to sometimes go a little on the spin friendly side. He's also advised the team to target Cameron Green, which is no-brainer advice, considering I think every franchise with a budget will potentially be targeting the Aussie all-rounder. More cricket news, but this time focused on the Ashes. There's been a lot of criticism of England that they're potentially coming into the Australia tour and this Ashes series undercooked, because of course they were playing a white ball series prior to this and they haven't had much time to acclimatize or play any sort of warm-up games or first class games to kind of get into the red ball rhythm. Ben Stokes and of course England batting coach Marcus Trescothick both defended this, saying that look, it's just the way the modern calendar works. You can't potentially be arriving months in advance and then looking to play warm-up games. That's not how it works anymore. The congested nature of the calendar makes that almost impossible, which is a valid reason, but perhaps that undercookedness might lead to them playing catch up if they end up losing the first test and then having to potentially look to win more and come from behind the 8 ball. Switching focus now on some pretty disturbing football news. The Turkish Football Federation has suspended 1,024 players over a betting scandal that has absolutely rocked the sport in the nation. Now, of course, Turkey has been enjoying a little bit of a mini resurgence recently. They'll be hosting the Euros as well in the not so distant future. But this particular betting scandal really sheds a very, let's say, unfortunate light on what has been one of the darker secrets there. Now, the betting scandal obviously doesn't involve match fixing in this case, at least not yet, but it does involve players, match officials, and even team owners placing bets on football matches, something that is pretty much illegal under FIFA regulations because it could lead to match fixing. More football news, and Cristiano Ronaldo has confirmed that the 2026 FIFA World Cup will be his last tournament, his last international tournament for Portugal, which kind of makes sense when you think about it. He's already 40, and whilst he's still supremely fit, watching him play games at times, even at the international level where the game is significantly slowed down, you get the feeling that he's not quite got the same burst of pace that he had a few years prior, and that's not a criticism. Age catches up to everyone, father time waits for no man, so him making this confirmation really not that much of a surprise. F1 news now, and this is an interesting one if you're a Mercedes fan. Toto Wolff, who you'd remember owns a 33% stake in the Mercedes F1 team, is set to sell a minority stake of his, and the stake is approximately around a 5% sale, which many are speculating comes about due to the fact that F1 teams now are valued higher than ever. In fact, the approximate brand value or the team worth of Mercedes is put at around £5 billion approximately. So just selling 5% will add millions to Toto's bank balance, but it's not a sign of him relinquishing control of the team, because this deal ensures that he will actually continue on not just as the team principal but even the team CEO. You remember that the ownership of Mercedes is split three ways. 33% is owned by Toto Wolff, 33% is owned by Mercedes parent company Daimler, and 33% is owned by Ineos, the company, the petrochemicals company that also owns multiple football teams, including a minority stake in Manchester United. So Toto doesn't really have equal status in that regard anymore, but considering the deal continues to see him as the team CEO and the team principal, it's fair to say he's mostly doing it for the money, which you understand. More Indian-centric news now, and this time the IOA president PT Usha has spoken and confirmed that the Asian Games, or the Commonwealth Games, confirmation, which India will be have put in a hosting bid for, remember, for 2030, that confirmation of that will come very soon. In fact, the date which Usha said is that by 25th or 26th November this will be confirmed. So that's big news, and one hopes that India can host the Commonwealth Games well, because again, the CWG in recent times has been finding it very tough to have or find many takers, because a lot of you'd remember nations actually relinquished their hosting rights because they felt that the cost wasn't worth it. Last bit of news before we wrap up: Carlos Alcaraz is on the verge of regaining the year-end #1 ranking in the sport of tennis for men's after he recorded a comeback win over Taylor Fritz in the ATP finals. Why this is important is because if he wins one more game in the ATP finals, he'll be the year-end #1 regardless of who wins the year-ending ATP finals. It'll be the second year on the trot that he will look to end as the world #1. And that's it from us in this edition of the Morning Wrap with Sports Today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, if you enjoy our work, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell icon. Follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, X, and Facebook, and stay tuned for more such videos from the world of sport.